You're going to make a meringue and you're going to make your batter and then you're going to bring it together. That's what we're doing. So YouTube is live and we're going to make a strawberry, world famous strawberry shortcake is what I'm going to call it. It's spectacular. It's really quite simple. Just you got to be exact with your measurements and you have to make your meringue perfection. That is really the key to this strawberry shortcake recipe. If it doesn't come out right, you didn't do it wrong, you just need more practice. So I have doubled my measurements and I have all my dry ingredients right here, ready to be sifted. You need also, in addition to buttermilk, which is key, and butter, you need cake flour for this cake. You have to go buy yourself. I mean, I have 4 boxes of cake flour. When I go to the market, I just take 4 boxes. Cake flour is what makes your flour just really fine, your cake really fine and delicate. That is what is going to change your game. All-purpose flour is not for every cake. For heavier cakes, you can use all-purpose, but sometimes I'm going to tell you you need cake flour. This is the time for this delicate strawberry shortcake. So I like to start with actually doing my yellow and cake batter going first. Then I'm going to make the meringue, and as soon as the meringue is done, I'm going to fold it in and get it in the oven. So let's go over what's going to happen first. First and foremost, we're going to get our egg yolk, which is the yellow. I need 4. I have doubled this measurement, so you can go half, and it'll make you guys about 2 thin ones. I doubled it. I'm going to make 3 good size cakes, and then I'm going to layer it with strawberry and whipped cream and cover it, and it's just going to be crazy good. All right, so having said that, my meringue is going to be added later. First thing I'm going to do is add my egg yolk, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Separate your eggs. Use good eggs. To the egg yolk, I will add a pinch of salt. Just a pinch of salt to the egg yolk. I feel like it needs it. And I'm going to start the egg yolk. Doesn't have anything to mix with. We're going to add the sugar. 4 egg yolks for 2 cups of sugar. This is doubled. Don't panic. This is going to make a huge cake. 2 cups of sugar. Now, right at this point where we're doing this, you do have to scrape down your bowl. In this process, you have to scrape down your bowl. You need 1 cup of melted butter because this is doubled. This is doubled, okay? Get this to become sandy, which means get all of the egg yolk and sugar whipped really well. It becomes like sand texture. Just get it going. And while that's doing its thing, no, it doesn't cook for 1 hour. It cooks for about 35 to 40 minutes, sometimes 25 minutes at 350. And I have to put, I like to cook this cake with a water bath. Now I have my own process. I don't put the cake in the water. I put the cake in the oven on the rack, and underneath the cake, I fill up my cookie sheet with water and I close it. The steam also adds to the moisture. All right, so this is going. I don't know what's happening, but Instagram is discussing something. I think you guys are not talking about the cake. So I can answer that question later. That's what you want. You want it to become really soft and fluffy. scrape down your bowl because in the bottom of the bowl, there is sugar and egg yolk that's stuck, and that'll get into your cake once you mix it all up, and you don't want that because then it'll be a chunky piece. So this is a delicate cake. You can't just let it go. Scrape down the bottom. There we go. This is really beautiful. It's kind of like wet sand, and it kind of is coming together. They're not scattered all over the place. It looks like a dough. It's coming together. So think of it that way. Let's get it going. Now, to this, I'm going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of vinegar. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of vinegar. I'm using apple cider organic vinegar. You don't taste it. This is just to go in there and help elevate the cake when you add your baking powder. You can barely even taste it. And once that gets going, the next liquid that's going into our batter is going to be our butter and our buttermilk. 2 cups of buttermilk, 1 cup of melted butter. You want to melt your butter, but you want it to let it sit and it cools. And then all that you're going to add is the dry ingredients, which is 2 cups of cake flour. Again, I'm going to reiterate, the picture that I put on my story is half of this. If you want to double it up, that's what I'm doing now. So if you guys do a screenshot of the recipe that I just posted on the story, that's half of this. I'm doubling the ingredients. There you go. You always want to sift because you're going to get these roly-poly flour balls, and you want to sift that through. And now you're going to intermix the flour and the wet ingredients, which means I'm going to add, actually, let me add a little bit of the butter. So now in here, I have my flour, I have my baking powder, and 2 pinches of salt. 2 pinches of salt because I doubled the batter, the ingredients. More oil, and when I say oil, I mean butter. Good European butter, people. Higher fat content, so you need less. Now I'm going to add some of my buttermilk. Oh yeah, you already know this cake's going to be amazing. There we go. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I want to scream this from the top of the roof. This is so good. Keep adding the flour. You sift everything together, and the flour, really you have to measure it. It's 310 grams if you're doubling your measurements, or 155 grams. You need to measure. That's the other key to this, is you have to measure for this cake. It's so delicate, you have to be precise. You need to measure it. You can't just wing it. You can't just measure 2 cups. It's not 2 cups. So if I said 2 cups, I apologize. You need to measure it. I'm going to add that last portion of the flour. And finally, all of the buttermilk. Voila! It's super simple. Turn it off. You don't want to overmix it. And then brush everything down. Get all of the buttermilk in there. Get it all in there because you've measured. All of this counts. It really does. Makes a difference in your batter, in your cake once it's done. Get every last bit in there. Be stingy. Get it all in there. It's precise. And then I like to brush this down because it has chunks of egg yolk and sugar that hasn't been blended well. You need to do that. You need to get it all in there because once you pour the batter out, it'll get stuck. And once you add your meringue, you want this to be perfect. You don't want to find chunks when you're adding your meringue to it. Look, when I scrape down the bottom, there are chunks of yellow egg yolk and sugar that has not combined perfectly. You need to scrape down the bottom. I know you guys forget sometimes. I do too. That's why I'm reminding you. And then when you pour your batter, you go, ooh, look at that. Now, it won't kill your cake, but if you're serving this to some special occasion, you don't want to find surprises like that. And why not make a habit of it? Just really diligently scrape down the bowl. Believe me, it'll make a difference. Here we go. Now get it going again. That's perfect. It's so fluffy and gorgeous. Oh, look at that. It's so ribbony. It's just fluff and gorgeous and smooth and silky. Just look at that color. The color is spectacular. I don't want it to drip on my counter. I don't want to waste. That's what I don't want to happen. So now all I do is set this aside. Grab another tissue. So I have flour all over my fingers and on me. And now the most important part is the meringue, which is the egg white. You're going to whip this into perfection. And you need your pinch of salt with the egg white. And you need to change your whisk and clean this because that flour that's splattered all over will fall into your meringue and it'll destroy your meringue. Your meringue is so sensitive. Your egg white is so sensitive. If it has any fat or any particles at all, it won't do what you want it to do. It'll destroy your cake. So here you keep thinking, what did I do wrong? And it's just these little things that matter. When you put that tip back on, again, check your bowl. And I'm going to inside. Oh, here, there's two actually. Check your bowl again. There we go. You know what else I like to do is when I'm washing my bowl, when I make meringue in it or egg yolk, sometimes it has a stench to it. Add some vinegar to the water and let it sit. Okay, here's my little trick with doing this the right way. Maybe move the coffee and sugar from the screen. I like to get my whisk going and then get it on a little higher than usual before I add the egg whites. That just gets the bubbles right off the bat. Look at that. Instead of pouring them in there, get every last bit in there. All right, now we're going to add a pinch of salt to this, to the egg white. You have to add a pinch of salt. That's going to start your meringue or cream of tartar. I like to add a pinch of salt. I know it's salt. And here we go. This process is going to be heavenly. It's magic. You just get this going, baby. All you add to this is your pinch of salt, and then a half a cup of sugar goes in there gradually. This is your meringue. And finally, at the end, right before it's over, you add your vanilla. That's 2 teaspoons, or as much or little as you like. Here, I add half a cup. This is where you're gonna play with it. If you really, really like it sweeter, add more. Me and my family don't like this cake to be too sweet, so half a cup is perfect for 4 egg whites. You guys try it. If you want more, you add more. Little bit at a time is what is going to make your meringue come out perfectly. Good job, Vicki. I'm sure you'll like it. As long as you go somewhere they're reputable and everyone's giving you thumbs up. Okay, a little bit more of the sugar. I'm going to add the vanilla now. Whip this up. Add the last of the sugar and watch your meringue become magic. Then all you gotta do is fold them together. The finish was on my Instagram, the one that I posted yesterday with the strawberries for Giselle. But this, I'm gonna turn it into a 3-layer cake. It's gorgeous. Now, if you don't wanna bake this and you wanna go buy it, by all means, go to Sweet Lady Jane and get their strawberry. Actually, I think it's their berry shortcake. They have mixed the berries. This is that cake. But if you want to give it a try, here's the recipe. So shout out to the bakers too out there. I'm supporting everyone. Watch this meringue. Are you guys ready? Watch that. Look at that. Look at that meringue. Look at that tip. That is gorgeous. Look at that. That is a perfect meringue. Look at that. It stands up. That's it. So simple. All right. Now we're going to bring all of this baby together and pour it into our pans. I think I can even go for four pans. I really can. I'm looking at my pans and I'm looking at my cake batter. There's a lot here. All right, let's put this baby here. You know how I am with cleaning every bit of this cake, getting it all out there. Here we go. This is so beautiful. I'm going to pick up the bowl and show you guys because I'm beside myself how good this is. Strawberry shortcake is my absolute favorite cake. It was my wedding cake. This baker in Beverly Hills, very, very famous lady, made mine. I'm not mentioning names because after many years, they finally retired. That's why they're gone. But it is my favorite cake, especially if it's done right. And that is the challenge. Look at that batter. I feel like, there we go. Look at that beautiful batter. Look at that batter. Look at that color. Now we're going to add this meringue to the cake. And all you do is the secret to adding meringue to batter to a cake is folding and twirling, folding and twirling. And here we go. I get the bowl going, take a scoop of my meringue and add it to that, and then you just fold. Gosh, this is beautiful. Beautiful. It really is just beautiful. Fold and twirl right in the middle. Fold and come out in the middle. Yes, yummy. Get all that cake on there. Sticking to my finger. My spatula. I have a lot of batter, so it's getting on my spatula. Next batch. Look at that meringue. That's just seriously, and it smells divine. Oh my God. I want to just crawl into this bowl. Just fold, scrape down the bowl, and fold. That's all. Ara, shoot. Ara, por favor, tu para Giselle. Rapido. I forgot my daughter's getting out in 1 minute. Oh my Lord. And it looks cloudy. What is happening with our weather? I don't mind it because it's not 175 degrees, but it's still very strange. Here we go. This is beautiful. Just kind of take your time and go 1 scoop at a time. 1 scoop at a time. Now, this recipe can really be applied to, I want to give you guys the freedom of experimenting. This recipe can be applied to chocolate cake, red velvet cake. That's how I really unlocked it, because my red velvet cake is perfection. And if you guys have tried it, it's the same process. The only difference is I don't do a meringue, but the ingredients and the buttermilk and the butter, oh, that's the key, really. Gives it enough fat content, and then the airiness, muy rápido, por favor, porque él fuera a las 12:10. Thank you. So, you know, take your time, see what I'm doing. I kind of just fold, I clean the bowl, and then I just kind of go like that, let it drizzle down. Now your meringue is done perfectly. You're not going to ruin it. You saw that meringue. The key to that is also adding the sugar a little bit at a time so it builds up on it. OMG, your mouth is watering. This is, I'm telling you, worth every single calorie. When you taste this, you're just going to be where they charge you, I don't know how much a slice at a fancy schmancy restaurant. Or if you're not a baker but you want to get it, go to Sweet Lady Jane. Tell them Sarah from Sarah's Kitchen sent you. They don't know me, but I think they would appreciate me sending you guys over if you want to go buy it. Here we go. That's it. Look at that. Look at that cake batter. Crazy, people, crazy. I'm changing the world with these. Just crazy gorgeous. Look at that. Magic. Yes, it is. Now, remember, here's where it's important what you do. Make sure you have a paper in the bottom of your pan. That is important part of it. Pour a little bit at a time because you want to have the same amount in every dish, right? You don't want your layers to be lopsided. You don't need to run anything over anything. Just let it be, because what will happen is, I brought 1 extra spatula. I don't really need it all. What will happen is it'll just get into its place as you go along. 1 scoop. One more scoop for you, a good generous scoop. And one more scoop for this baby. Oh yeah, that got an extra scoop. Here we go. One more scoop. One more scoop. Now you could weigh these. I mean, if you feel like you really want to be OCD, I can really eye it to some degree. And again, I'm not making this for anyone's wedding, so if one is a little bit higher than the other, just a little bit, my suggestion is you put that piece in the bottom. If you have them, you know, where they're lopsided. Now I'm just gonna look over my batters. Just wiggle it a little. They'll go to where they want to go. Look at this. Look at this. Just wiggle it a little bit. You don't want to tap it. You don't want to get those air bubbles out. That'll make your cake tense, not dense, not tense, and tense, dense. And you want it to be airy. You want all those layers in there. All right, they all look pretty much the same. I'm going to add this to this one because it's the closest to me. And yes, I'm quite stingy with my batter. I like to scrape the whole darn thing down and get it out. I'm actually quite jealous that I can't pick up my daughter because I wanted to walk to school with the dogs. That is always fun. And walk back with her. It gives us time to just talk. She'll tell me all about school and what happened. So-and-so said this. Enjoy the little moments with your kids. As I have a 10th grader, I can't believe in 2 years he's going to be leaving. Can't believe that. All right, we got sidetracked with life combo. That's that. Now we're going to go in the oven. You know, 325 to 350, depending on your oven. And about 25 to 35 minutes, again, depending on your oven. You got to keep an eye on it. This will poof up and come up. That's from the meringue. It'll stay that way. When it's done, just add a toothpick in the center or a fork. I just tap it. I feel the top and I know it's done. If it makes you feel more comfortable, do the toothpick or knife test. Now, I'm going to put this on the rack as is, and then underneath this rack, there's another rack right up underneath it, and I'm going to put my cookie sheet in there, and I'm going to add water in that. So it'll steam up while it's cooking. That'll keep it moist also. Thank you for watching. I'm going to finish YouTube and come back and chit chat with Instagram. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. That way you get notified when I go live. And I will come back and show you guys the finished project. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, and that way you'll be notified. Thank you, guys. Okay, so you